and the Gemini crew.
Ooh!
Ooh! Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
Welcome one, welcome all. Welcome to Mike in the Night, broadcasting from Merritt, British Columbia, and all across the Commonwealth and the United States of America. I don't know if anyone's been watching basketball today, but I usually hold my breath a long time in the fourth quarter. I usually forget to breathe. I was watching the Game 6 with the Toronto Raptors and the Milwaukee Bucks with my daddy. We're watching it, and man, I couldn't... Sometimes I forget to breathe because it's so invigorating. It's intense. Yeah, so they're in the finals. Woo! Toronto's in the finals. So I don't do sports, but I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. That I'm on a high right now, on a good high. High on happy vibes. High on happy vibes. Go Raptors, go. Thank God Drake was there. If it wasn't for Drake, Toronto probably wouldn't even be in the playoffs. Thank you, Drake, for being there. Without you standing there on the sidelines, Toronto probably wouldn't even have a city any right now. Toronto only exists because of Drake. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, guys, what are we talking about? What comes after marriage? Why is marriage failing? Why are people not running to the altar? Why are people... I know what everyone's going to say in the comment section. It's MGTOW, men going their own way. And that's a big, huge movement. Huge movement with the MGTOW, MGTOW. I already set that all up with a few shows back. But, yeah, resource extraction in a marriage, yeah, of course. The MGTOW movement, MG Town, or whatever you want to call it, movement is huge because they're tired of putting women on the chopping block saying, hey, men are tired of giving resources and support. And, okay, we got Charlie Brown here, two-time world champ, in the comments in Australia watching us. He says, Mike Martin's marriage has been dead since 2009. Maybe the real issue is why do so many people refuse to admit the problems of Western society and marriage and men's issues. Mike, you're a blue pill man. And then someone says, oh, no, you see, I'm very, very happily married. I didn't know it was even possible. I was divorced. I was married before and divorced. Hand to God, thank God I had no kids. Thank you, Jesus. That's proof right there God exists. Anyways. No. The relationship I'm in right now, I never argue with my wife. We never argue. Ever. You know? But my wife is old school and she was raised under the machismo male chauvinism in the Philippines. So it's different. So I really lucked out. You see, I know what men are looking for. I was single for almost a decade. About 9-10 years. Yeah, I was single for... I know what men... I'm a man. And it's tougher being a man and being under 5'10", or being short. That's even worse. Women don't like short guys. Unless Western women usually don't like short guys. But other cultures, they don't care. No, bottle caps. I'm not still in honeymoon stage, bud. I've been with my wife now 7-8 years. I'm not in honeymoon stage. Honeymoon, we didn't even go on a honeymoon. We're going on a honeymoon still. But no. Exactly. Thank you, Briggs. Senior Briggs in the house. And you know what he has to say? He has something to say real good. Marriage died when it became part of the legal system. Thank you. This guy right here, somebody come up. Give this guy a medal. Police. Bottle Cap saying 7-8 years. Wow, that's still honeymoon stage. No. Wait, Jose. Let me tell you guys something. When my first marriage, 2 months in, I wanted out. My first marriage, 2 months in, I had to get the hell out. That broad would wake up pissed off, go to sleep pissed off, and go to the bathroom pissed off, and walk in the room pissed off. It's like, you know what? Like, you know, it's done. Charlie saying, what killed it was no fault divorce, and divorce turning into equal outcome in the 1970s. And then 1960s federal law, no fault divorce. So I'm being straight up with you guys. There are very compatible women that exist out there for men. And there are very compatible men that exist out there for women. Believe me. It's... A lot of people don't want to admit that it hinges on the women's side more. Because I could sit down in downtown Miami Beach at a restaurant on a nice patio restaurant, enjoying a nice steak, and every woman that walks by, oh wow, I'd marry her. I mean, if that girl was loyal, I'd take care of her for the rest of my life. Wow, that girl's really pretty. I mean, I would. Oh yeah, she said no. So it's ultimately the women's decision in the end. It doesn't matter. I could be watching girls walking by while I'm eating my steak. It's like, hey, you want to join me? I'll buy you a drink. No, you're too short. Is that bad? Ultimately, it's the women. The men are trying to work the field or play the field, so it's called, and it's tough because ultimately it's the women that make the ultimate decision whether they want to be with someone or not, right? It's the women that make that decision. Guys like myself, I think when I was on a dating site, Plenty of Fish, I married every woman on there. I messaged every woman on there twice, and if they messaged me back that say you're too short or would ask me a question about a friend in a photo or something weird, you know. Kevin Thompson saying looks aren't everything. In the West, yes. In the West, Section 8 says best advice: never get married. Yes, 1 gazillion trillion %. Getting married is a huge commitment, but. Yes. Okay. Cognitive Rue in the house. Thank you for joining us. Mike Martins. Yes. Men propose and women dispose. That's the deal. Ultimately, it's the women that make the ultimate decision. Yeah, baby. Look at these guns. But ultimately, that's it. So let's kick this off before we get into tonight's show. Marriage. Is it dead? before we kick off tonight's show, I want to just go over some channel news here. All right, community's doing really well, guys. Thanks for commenting and liking in the community. Here's your Batman and Robin. There's the Fed and the inflation. And I commented, let's lower rates. Don't forget to get into ANZ profit record. This ANZ passing out more than RBA's rates to its customers. Wow. So, guys, don't forget to join our community section here. I have stuff to fill in the blanks. I got polls here on the Mike Martin's channel. So that's that. Okay, guys, update on my channel. Something's really wrong with the channel. I have a ton of people, a lot. I've received, after I did this video here, and I was Morning Coffee with Mike. I was talking about how my channel, what's happening is, as of 4 or 5 days ago, maybe 6 now, I haven't been keeping track, I've gotten 0 subs, okay? 0 people find me through suggestions, like suggested. 0 people find me through keywords, and 0 people find me from external. It was all zeros in gray. Then I said maybe I'll refresh it in a few days. Refresh it, still, I think I got 1 sub, but all 0, 0, 0. And my views went down from last month from almost 2 million views down to 800,000. So something's wrong. Everything's turned off. It's like they flipped the switch. And you know what it was? It was when I did this video right here that doesn't even have 300 views. Adversity points at American colleges. That was from 3 days ago. Ever since I did this adversity points from Canadian college and London, England, 1969, let the good times roll. Ever since I did this video and I did the adversity points one, something happened and it's like they flicked the switch on my channel. 0 fines. 0 fines through searches. 0 fines through recommendations. 0 fines through everything. So Charlie's saying you get censored and shadow banned. Too much truth. And then Abifield saying shadow banned. Delete those videos, says Kevin Thompson. They're not bad. They're not bad videos. I'm not going against the whole, hey, this is free speech, free speech. No, I'm not even fighting that because it's not bad. It's not even, it's just discussing what is happening in colleges. Students need to know this information. If they're going to apply to an Ivy League or a very high-end college, they need to understand that diversity, is it diversity? Adversity counts towards them being qualified to get into the college. What's wrong with that? It's not like I'm making it up. Battlecaps is saying, yeah, delete them. And then Section 8 is saying, YouTube is very inconsistent. Everyone is having problems this month. Yeah, man. Something's really wrong. My channel blew up. Yeah, Briggs is saying it's not just you. Remember, you guys saw that Secure Team video I did right here. For Secure Team, they took all his monetization away. They demonetized the guy's channel. So let's go over some stories from the channel here. So watch this: adversity points, American college, real deal. Mike yawning. Someone saying you're not. Someone was saying I'm not professional, and they watch other professional economy and economic channels. Guys, I have no education. I can't even read. We're just here talking. I'm your guy next door. I'm just the guy next door. Hey, I'm Mike Martins. I'm your neighbor. What do you want to talk about, dog? We're friends, man. Hey, what do you like to drink? Do you like to play golf? You know, that's what we are. We're friends. That's all we are. We're friends. Ireland, massive housing crisis. This one's sad. CIBC bank stock slides. Gold is losing its shine. Gold, in my opinion, gold and oil are 2 commodities that are severely undervalued. And silver. Silver is severely undervalued. Canadians taking out fewer mortgages. What else we got here? Secure Team needs us. And then Turkey sanctions NATO. So Turkey sanctions a NATO member. What else do I got here? Deutsche Bank is crashing. Tesla cuts back on toilet paper. Tesla is in such a dire straits right now that they're cutting back on toilet paper. And then real weight loss tips. I spoke to someone that lost 100 pounds today in person at 90 pounds. I was blown away when I saw in 3 months. So I'm following his diet. Started today. Mortgage stress test, reality, good and bad, and great Australian housing disaster is really good. All right, let's move on. Let's give a little Ric Flair woo. Oh yeah, good old Ricky in the house. One more time, Ricky. Oh yeah, woo! Mike in the night. All right, let's keep going. This one's a big one. I want to read this in today's news before we head off to tonight's show on Is Marriage Dead? U.S. military to trawl through 350 billion social media messages? I was just surprised it was 350 billion messages that were made. Woo! Yeah, so... He can't afford to shoot a car out into outer space, but he can't afford to wipe his butt, says Bottle Caps. Charlie Brown, woo! Tesla self-driving toilet paper. That was a good one, Briggs. Yeah, Briggs is always getting really creative there in the comment section. All right. So 350 billion. We only have 7 billion people in the world, okay, or 7.5. 2 billion are not on social media, which is China. Then you got like India, parts of Africa where social media is still making its way through. Really? So, U.S. military to trawl. What does trawl mean? Is it like sitting at home fanning your junk? Is that trawling? You're just fanning on a hot day? 350 billion social media messages. Project will analyze 200 million users' postings. Navy says individual users won't be identified in the research. So they're not using the military to protect their southern border, but they prefer to go through people's messages. I've always wondered this. If there's a way to exonerate somebody from a crime they committed that they didn't commit, but they go through some messages and reveal something that the courts missed, would they actually take it and say, yeah, this guy's innocent? No, they won't. They don't care. They're just looking at it to slam you. All right. A tender for project based by the Naval Coast Guard School in Monterey, California calls for screening of messages from at least 200 million users from more than 100 countries. Wow, we have 100 countries on this world? Wow, I didn't know we were so divided. In more than 60 languages to better understand collective expression. Okay, this is fake. You know why? I don't know any American that speaks more than English or Spanish. And then everything else is just another language. Okay, 60 languages to better understand collective expression. Messages including usernames will be examined for comments, metadata, location, and hometown identifiers. While it's part of an existing Department of Defense analysis effort to harness big data for social research, the scale and global reach of this program is striking. The study proposes to look at social media messages posted publicly between July 2014 and December 2016 on a single platform according to a solicitation request. No private communications will be included and individual users won't be identified in the research, according to the Navy. So Charlie's saying Canada passed a law that now men are not allowed to use CCTV footage to prove men are innocent when women are doing false claims. Believe all the women in traffic facts video footage. Truth, facts, and video footage. Wow! So even though there's CCTV that could prove or exonerate somebody, they can't use that now. Wow! So someone's saying 183. Guys, what are we talking about? Guys, what are we talking about 183, guy? Guys, silver tank, even worse, crashed. My third crash out. Don't buy silver. Guys, what are we talking about? 183, guys. Cotton Candy Beard Gary says social media makes people less social. Thank you. Give this man a medal. Thank you. They planned it so everyone can get hooked and then use it against them in the future and trace their lives. Yeah, there's a lot of videos out there like where 183 countries. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you for getting back to me. So there's Now let's move on. Enough of Big Brother. Bizarre room to rent ad offers a bunk bed share. So nice. This is so good. I just feel like someone just compliment gave me a nice compliment today. This is the feeling you get when you see things like this. When London rents sky high, sometimes renters have to adjust to their expectations, but a bunk bed? Really? I thought I read that wrong 3 times in a row, and I kept reading it. I'm like, wait a minute. Half a bunk bed. I mean, do you put a sheet over the bottom bunk so the guy can't see? Well, from shared beds to makeshift share. Okay, guys, you know people in the military sleep better than this in their bases. From shared beds to makeshift shed rooms, we thought we'd seen it all when it comes to rental marketing. Oh, how we were wrong. The latest bizarre listing, which offers a half bunk bed to rent in London for £100 per week. So that's £5,200 per year. That is $6,912 US. Must have warranted more than a few double takes from renters scoring the ads on a spare room. Bunk beds are fun when you're young and you get to share a room with your sibling. And we can't even tolerate them in hostels while backpacking, but as a permanent sleeping arrangement for a grown-up, not so much. And Kevin Thompson saying that's about 800 Canadian. Here it is. There's the thing. Close quarters. The accommodation is described as spacious twin room, but for $400 per month for one of the beds, it still feels a bit too steep for us. Yeah, £400 is a lot of money, man, for that. I guess you got a shared kitchen, shared bathroom, shared toothbrush, shared couch. So, I mean, if you get a friend to couch surf, it's going to be really tough. How do you bring women home? I don't know. I would never put myself in this kind of position. Like, I mean, unless you're like a priest or something, or like you don't want to get married, or you're celibate or something, or MGTOW, yeah, if you're MGTOW, eh? So we got Ben in the comments saying, can you check the prices in Calgary? I'm going to Calgary soon, guys. I'm going to probably go to Calgary next week, and I'll do a Calgary on the ground. Probably do some Calgary thing there. AB Field saying, that's why Brexit happened. The political elites brought in millions of cheap labor, but did not build infrastructure to keep up with the new visitors. Section 8, when I was 8 years old, I had my first 80 ounce and was hooked. Real Kevin Top said, I seen that at my daughter's college. And then Charlie saying, Mike Martins, did you hear Japan ban Airbnb because it was a real threat after 12 months to the hotel industry? So the hotel chains complained to the government and got it banned. Yeah, well, Japan is in its own situation right now. It's stagnation, deflation. All right, move on. Oh, this one's good. I got to put this one up here for you. Guys. This one's good. An RV camp sprang outside of Google's headquarters. Now Mountain View wants it to ban it. So Google is complaining about this beautiful caravan of parked off-grid livers. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of thirsty. It's kind of warm in here. It's warm outside. An RV camp sprang up outside Google's headquarters now. Mountain View wants to ban it. Woo! So it's only good when it's not in your neighborhood or your neck of the woods, right? Richa de Creador da Silva said, that's what I'm moving into. Yeah, we're going to do an off-grid show in a week or two. I need people to call in. I need people to call in, if that's okay. Okay, guys. Cotton Candy Beard. Somebody banned his message, or I don't know why. View deleted message. Yeah, I'm going to okay that. Yeah, it's okay. There you go. Yeah, Murder Peg. Yeah, Raven's in the house. God bless the Raven. All right. So, RV camp sprang outside of Google's headquarters. Now Mountain View wants to ban it. See, it's only okay to live in your RV or off-grid when you're not close to anyone or the people that are causing this, or part to cause some of this mess with the skyrocketing housing and all that stuff. Yeah. I don't know if anyone watched the Raptors game today, but they won. They're in the finals, the NBA finals. I just kind of want to throw that in there intermittently through tonight's show. So, yeah. I don't like that. Van dwellers. With house prices out of reach. Where will all the van dwellers go? They don't like this view. You guys need to take care of it like ASAP. This is the phone call they made. You guys need to take care of it like ASAP, he said, lecturing the young couple living in the vehicle. I'm not going to tow it today, but tomorrow, if I come back here, it's like this. It's getting towed. As he delivered the ultimate, a self-driving car rolled past. Go figure. Oh, we got Supreme Canon. I was thinking of Supreme Canon today. I was actually thinking of him today. Hope he's doing okay, Raven, today. Is marriage dead? Let me finish some of this news, and we're going to head off. Here we go. Look, there we go. Last little section of news, and we're going to head off. We do about a half an hour. We do some shout-outs, channel and news, blah, blah, blah. Woo! And Trump targets UK, Australia, and Ukraine over the greatest hoax in the history of our country. Okay, we're going to have to follow that later. Shielding the world from U.S. chaos is not an easy task. Visualizing how much oil is in an electric vehicle. Bruh. Oil, along with natural gas and hundreds of different uses in a modern vehicle through petrochemicals. All right, let me throw a woo out there. Everyone's wooing. Okay, here we go, guys. All right. Okay. Watch. DHL launches first fully automated drone delivery service in China. This is an exciting time for logistics sector. Hey, yo, imagine some guy, like, hear me out. Some guy is on the social credit score and he's got a bad credit score. And the information gets sent to the head office computer. The DHL package gets reverted saying, nope, not allowed to buy salt and pepper. Takes it to the river, boom, dumps it in the river. That's what I'm talking about. Doug Casey, this is going to be one for the record books. The Greatest Depression will be well greater than this is going to be one for the record books. Much different, much longer, lasting, and more worse than unpleasantness of 1929 to 1946. And let me tell you guys why. It's because we got 20 quarters of artificial growth. Artificially lower interest rates, artificially this, artificially that, Mickey Mouse this, Mickey Mouse that, blah, 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 buy now you never own, blah, 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 and look what's happened now. We got to retract 15, 16 quarters of growth, of artificial growth that's not even real. Uh, bu- 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 Three charts show millennials are now nowhere close to buying a home. Millennials don't have a pot to piss in. Drop gold myths. A naturalist exposition of gold's manifest superiority to Bitcoin as money. That looks interesting. And latest Gillette ad features. Gillette's finished to me. I'm never going to buy Gillette again. Gillette could go straight to hell. Straight to hell, Gillette. Delivery by Skynet. Ford testing headless robots in driverless car for home delivery. Oh, look at that. It's headless and it walks. I wonder if you kick that thing real hard in the crotch, what would happen? Like, I'm not kidding. It drops off the box, stands up, and you just go up to it with steel toe shoes. Boom! Right in the, like, what would happen? Would it go down and grab its crotch? Like, yeah, anyways. Facebook bans CrossFit group for advocating low-carb, high-fat diets. So anybody with an opinion basically gets shut down. House Dems agreed to halt subpoena for Trump financial records during appeal. Oh my God, that's still going on. That stinks. It's like old fish that's been sitting upstairs in the kitchen, uncooked. It's been sitting there for 3 years. That's how bad it stinks. How times change. 2014 mainstream media demands Obama fire Bernard, fix intel agencies. Okay. Oh, Hawaii spent all their resources stealing. Stunning new expose shows. Come on. Like the Chinese companies are going to steal. Give me a break. Yeah. All right. We gotta, okay, here. Is marriage dead? All right. We're going to open up our lines. 30 minutes is up. We need to discuss, is marriage dead? So my point of view of marriage is very simple. I was single for a long time after I got divorced. And my opinion is a little bit different. It's because a guy could easily attract himself to almost every girl. Like, sit in Miami. Like, I'm going to do this scenario again. I'm in Miami Beach. I'm in South Beach. I'm sitting at a restaurant, a nice patio restaurant, watching girls walk by on the sidewalk. Oh, wow, I'd so take care of her if she was loyal. Oh, wow, she's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Look at her stunning hair. And look at her. Wow. Oh, wow. But you go, no, you're too short. No, you don't look rich. No. So ultimately, it's the women that make the decisions. I got to get Supreme Canon. I got to get Supreme Canon on the show. I need him on here. I haven't heard from him in a few days. Actually, I got a week or two. I need to get him on the show. I hope he's okay. Let me see if I could find him here and get him on the show. I hope his I hope his Skype is on. I hope he's ready to go. He's all set. All right, let's give Supreme Canon a call.
Hello, Mikey.
What's up, dog?
Oh, this and that, you know. Long time no talk.
Yeah, it's been a whole week and a half, almost 2 weeks, dude.
Yeah, we'll have to fix that soon.
Are you gonna come by and see me?
Gonna try. We're back logging. Everything's really busy right now, so my weekdays are kind of tied up. But maybe some Saturday I'll come in.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, marriage, is it dead? What's going on with marriage? Because marriage is I think it was a huge piece of infrastructure that kept our economy going strong in the 30s, 40s, 50s, up to the 70s.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Is marriage dead? Well, a lot of places in the world, obviously, it's still thriving and it's still traditional. But the thing about MGTOW is it's been kind of painted as men boycotting marriage. But if you really take a step back and look at what marriage used to be, right, in a more traditional sense, in a more traditional family, it was a young man who was raised, by the community to be prepared to be a husband and a father and be part of the community. You had a lot of responsibilities, but you got a certain social gravitas for being a father and a provider and all the rest of that. The other side of the coin is that young women were also raised from an early age to participate as well. So you had you had two closed shop unions, right? You had women's work, you had men's work. And that's literally what they were. Like, you stayed out of the house, you stayed out of the kitchen, you stayed out of the child rearing, at least beyond a certain age, but you had your work, the things that you went to do. So it was a certain division at that time. But what happened 50 years ago is women said, well, we're not going to do this part anymore. We're going to, when we turn 18, 19, no, we're not going to get married and start being wives and mothers right away. That's for later. We're going to go have our fun first. We're going to go get a career. We're going to get our money. We're not going to rely. We don't want to have to rely on a man, right?
Right.
So the problem is that most guys are very reliable.
Yes,
right?
they are.
And it is a problem in a way because to women that's boring, that's predictable. I mean, we've got so much entertainment, so many possibilities, all the bright lights, the big noises. So basically, men never boycotted marriage. Women boycotted marriage.
Well, why do you think the prisons are filled with men? They're high level of testosterone. A lot of men are off the wall when it comes to excitement and fun when they want to, right? You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah, they're big fun. They never seem to end well. And I think a lot of women, it's funny. It's kind of it's a yin and yang. You got to think of it as the opposite side of the coin. A lot of men get into the trap of trying to save a troubled woman, right? Well, I think women, in a way, kind of do the same thing. They find a man, and for whatever reason, he fires off certain parts of their, of their brain that other men maybe don't, and they rationalize themselves into, well, I'll turn him into a husband. I'll turn him into a father. So they take, those 10 or 15 years of, that bloom of youth, I guess, for lack of a better term, and they spend it on guys like that and telling themselves that they're being noble while they're doing it. It's kind of an inverse of what men do in that situation.
Okay, we got Richa here, De Silva saying, marriage died after the pharmaceutical revolution. What do you think?
Extended lifespans. I mean, technology has done that, but you've got a lot of people that were married for 60 years. It's no, I don't think that's the case. The idea that people only live to 50 is not quite right. That's the mean. That's not the average. If you could beat all the childhood diseases and you didn't get any, major catastrophic ones, throughout your life. No, you live till 70 fairly often. It's not that it was totally, it also depended on what you did for a living. If you worked in a coal mine, if you were a farmer, if you were somebody that was working constantly, you work yourself into an early grave. But the thing is that the only reason men did that is because they had the incentive of having a wife and having a family. But women have decided that they're going to delay that. Well, the problem is, I'll settle down and get married later. The problem is that by the time they tell themselves they're ready to settle down, they're really not fit for it anymore. They don't really want it, and the kind of guys who will take the deal, they might be all sweet and kind, and there's things about that women love, but it doesn't turn them on. I mean, they tell themselves they're ready to grow up and settle down, as it were, but they don't really respect the men who take the deal, and I think that's partly why in the end the divorce rate is so high, because they can't handle it.
Yeah. And we got Charlie saying they always play with the jerk, and then while claiming they want a nice guy. Then we got Ben saying birth control changes females' preference, been proven.
Yes, that's true too. They do tend to while they're on birth control. That's the irony too, is while they're on birth control, yeah, they're out and going for the guys that put the tingle in their nethers, and but they still, because they want to feel something, right? They don't like to be bored. It's like women would rather be miserable than bored. I think sometimes that's why they continually choose guys that are constantly having them crying and stomps on their heart and everything else. Like, it's just a drama. But we live in a time where they have fallbacks. If you married the wrong person 100 years ago, you were screwed. If one of the traveling minstrels came through town and knocked up the farmer's daughter, well, by the time she realized she was late, the guy was 3 towns over and 100 miles away, and you never saw him again. So, I mean, that's why you had shotgun marriages. The fathers would say, well, forget it. You're going to stay here and help on the farm and raise your kid and marry my daughter because I'm not having this. Well, with the welfare state, with jet travel and everything else, and let's face it, now the traveling minstrels come to town and everybody hands their daughters $50 to go see them. Mm-hmm. It's just completely fallen apart in that regard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Richa, people married at 14, that's true, but I mean, in a lot of cases, it's like, well, everybody had really hard lives, and you had to get people started and get them out of the house and helping out.
That's right.
You know, I mean, you needed numbers in those days. I mean, you needed men to do the work, all the heavy lifting. This was before the age of oil and electricity. I mean, everything's done with a push of button now, and you don't even need a man to push the button. And yeah, so technology and the Industrial Revolution definitely set us up for the fall at that point. But in terms of traditional marriage, in other words, a young man marrying a young woman, there's still lots of young men who would like to get married, but the women are all, no, I'll do it later.
Yeah.
You know, and by the time later comes, they're not up for it anymore, really. I mean, Mother Nature doesn't like women. She's constantly beating on the drum. You got to go get a guy. And eventually they get to a point where the light comes on and they say, geez, I better go find a guy before I run out of musical chairs.
That's right.
And so they wind up kind of taking anybody at that point, and the guy who will take that deal. And think about marriage from a man's perspective. You're pledging 50 years of life, love, liberty, labor, loyalty, and loot in exchange for what? A woman's love? She's already given it to a bunch of guys that you'd have no respect for sometimes 10 and 20 years. You know, like, it's not a really good deal.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that men have boycotted or walked away from it. It's just like, this isn't something that I look forward to anymore. And I saw what happened to my dad, or I saw what happened to my brother or my uncle. And no, and they grow up seeing what girls are doing already in high school. And it's like, why would I marry that? I'm not going to sign this paper. It's just become a cargo cult. You know, the rituals are there, but the original meetings have all been stripped away.
Okay. We got Real Kevin Thompson is saying, my ex is 37 and still partying. Cotton Candy Beard is saying reality TV shows and growing up watching Disney movies had given them false expectations on marriage too. And then we got A.B. Field saying, if you marry a girl who has girlfriends who are single and mingle, she'll regret marriage. Girls marry in social groups.
Yeah, they do. I think they do. I think they sit down and they have coffee and they plan when they're going to get pregnant. I think they coordinate everything. Because let's face it, if they're willing, the guy's always there. That's not a problem. You know, they can probably time it down to the, you know, not necessarily down to the minute, but they could, probably decide they're going to start having kids, and they can all have them within a month of each other just because, I'll get them to do what I want them to do. And most guys are oblivious and they don't understand the game that's being played on them. I mean, girls, they get that estrogen download at 14, 15. They get a 10-year head start on guys. And most guys don't have men's, exactly, Richa. Women stick together. They hate each other, but they stick together. They are a team. Even when they fight amongst themselves, they're still a team.
So I must have really lucked out, because I never demand or command my wife to do anything. And you know what?
No.
She never wants to go out with, she goes out to the Filipino parties when they have buffets and stuff. I tell her to go out or join a Zumba class or something. She's like, no, I'd rather be home with the family and do stuff around the house. I'm like, really? Yeah, I think you've met my wife. Have you met my wife yet?
I did meet her briefly at the store, yeah. Well, you talked a little bit about her history, Mike, and it's kind of, I read an article once, and it made a lot of sense. There are some women, okay, they don't need the drama. They've suffered enough. They don't need it. You know, they've had plenty. They just want to team up with a good guy, build a tribe and an empire. You know, they want somebody with some ambition, got stuff going on, can make their socks roll up and down a little bit. You know what I mean? It's got some energy and some manly drive. And they're good. They don't need to go through 100 guys to figure that out. They don't need the constant up and down. They've suffered enough. That's kind of the Cinderella syndrome, you know. Cinderella is this beautiful young woman who's obviously both of her parents are dead because she's being raised by a stepmom and two wicked sisters, right? And they're basically keeping her locked up as a house slave. It takes a divine intervention for her to go to a party and be seen by anybody. And, you know, but she's very loving. She's very, you know, she's not spoiled. She's not a diva, right? Like, she's not a thought. She doesn't want that. But, I mean, she attracts the attention of an actual prince. And this is the problem. I think most of what women are doing now is kind of an alpha male penis envy. They got this idea. Sorry for saying that word, but they've got this idea. They're going to go out and they're going to be just like the guys who, you know, who they gave their body to and then didn't call them back. They're going to go out and get revenge. They're going to go out and knock up the notches and chase the money. And they're going to put their new suede pumps on the desk and smoke cigars and be the big shot. That's the whole Sex in the City thing. You got women that are going around, you know, fornicating for sport in a big anonymous city for 20 years, and at the age of 40, they match up with Mr. Big and get married, and that's their happy ending. That's not how this works.
Well, Charlie
That's not
Brown just put
remotely how it
something.
works.
Charlie Brown just put something in the comments. 95% of women demand the top 5% men.
Yeah, I think it's on a sliding scale. I mean, they'd like that, but it's just like, every guy would like to get with, Catherine Zeta-Jones in her prime, right? Like they kind of know it's not going to happen, but if they actually get a chance to interact with that guy, particularly the ones who, get a drunken interlude with that guy just because he was bored, he had nothing better to do. Well, from that point on, they're kind of spoiled. They think, oh, well, that's my area. That's where I am now. Like female beauty is like male, testosterone. It's on a bell curve. Like the average woman is average, just like the average man.
Exactly.
And of course, everybody wants to, pair off at a higher level naturally, but it's, they're not being realistic about it. Because they've been told, and it's been mentioned, I saw it in the comments too, that's true, the Disney syndrome. They get told since they're little girls that you're a princess and you run the world now. And it's not like they can't have careers and be successful and everything else. But their problem is Mother Nature. It's not men. They get a certain window of time where they're not just where they have eggs that are viable, can have kids, but when they can attract a man who's actually going to make that lifetime commitment, yeah, they want them pretty young. Maybe a woman can have a baby at 35. Nobody really wants to marry at 35. They want to marry at 25 or younger because it's like, well, I'm signing up for a lifetime project. I want the best you have. You're getting my best. I want your best.
Right.
But women think having a great career means that they're a catch. And the fact is a woman's career has absolutely nothing to do with attracting a man. Like it's absolutely irrelevant.
Yeah, it is. Now, let's go over here to Japan, saying Japan to stop labeling people unmarried at 50 as lifelong singles. Japan's seeing a lot of low fertility problems, and also Korea. And not only that, Japan has also seen a lot of problems with people marrying themselves.
Yeah, well, they want the ceremony, Mike. I mean, there's a woman that married a chandelier. There's a woman that married the ghost of a pirate that's been dead for 300 years. Apparently, they've been divorced because it wasn't working out. But they just want attention. That's the thing about marriage. It's not. They don't want a marriage and a family. They want a wedding and a baby because all their friends are getting one. That's what it's become. It's just hollowed out. It's a cargo cult.
So, let's move on here. And then this article here from CNN says, for many young South Koreans, dating is too expensive or too dangerous.
That's part of it, yeah. I mean, you have this expectation that the women are going to be out the door and hit the ground running just like the men were expected to do. And by the time they get to 30 or 35 or whatever their, the cutoff was in their mind or whatever the culture is telling them, because a lot of people are telling young women, oh, you've got lots of time. No, don't get married at 21. Oh, that's ridiculous. You need to see the world. You've got lots of time for that. No, if you're a man, you do. If you're a woman, you don't. And that's Mother Nature. That's got nothing to do with patriarchy.
Right. And then it says here, in 2018, a majority of South Koreans aged 20 to 44 were single, and only 26% of the unmarried men and 32% of unmarried women in the age group in where relationships, according to the Korean Institute of Health and Social Affairs, among those who were not dating, 51% of men and 64% of women said they were choosing to remain single.
Yeah, well, the thing about choosing to remain single, you've probably seen, there was an article a year or two ago from Sydney, Australia, everyone's favorite city for real estate, and there was something like 17 single women for every quote unquote eligible man. Right. But the what they meant by eligible was, well, the usual 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, 6-figure income, 600 horsepower car. And they expect this guy to choose a 38-year-old, paper pusher instead of, a 25-year-old kindergarten teacher who likes kids and loves to bake, which is probably the woman that guy could marry because he can pretty much have any woman he wants. The difference between men and women is they get handed their attractiveness from the word go, and men got to work for it. But once they got it, they got it. right? Where the men are concerned, I imagine a lot of those societies like Japan, there seems to be a tradition that, yeah, Charlie Brown, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There seems to be the tradition that when you get married, well, the man goes to work and he hands over his paycheck to the wife, and she bosses him around and gives him an allowance, and that's what he's signing up for in
Really?
order to have
They
a
do
wife and a
that?
family. Well, that's what I read about. I've never been
Oh,
there. I'm very
I
curious.
with my wife, I don't I work. We have a joint account.
Sure.
My wife never she never, and if she's gonna spend money, she calls me. Hi, I need to buy some. I need to buy. I really need to buy a new pair of running shoes. Mine are all broken. Okay, go ahead. I don't care. What are you calling me for? It's like, you need running shoes. Buy them. But she's calling me in respect, saying like, you're the breadwinner in the house, and I want to make sure you know that I'm buying a pair of shoes. So
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's good that she consults you about that kind of thing. But that's right. There are a lot of things like, no, it's just the basic running of a household. She's trusting you to do your thing. You're trusting her to do her thing. But again, she's from what you said, she's more than suffered enough. It's like, no, she doesn't need drama. She
mhm,
wants to build it. She wants to build a tribe and an empire with Mike Martins. That's what
that's
she
right.
wants to do.
Yeah.
She's got someone to team up with and face the world together. That's what marriage used to be. That was the idea. And the reason things aren't growing so much anymore is because it's all played out. I mean, the men and the women are both out running on the treadmill, and also, occasionally online dating or meeting somebody, but it's, like it's just, and everyone is just guarding themselves. There's no safe space to meet somebody anymore, especially in the age of Me Too. It's getting ridiculous. You
Dude, you're
definitely
like
don't want to
42.
date. Yeah. I'm 54, just about 54.
But you look good.
Uh,
I'm gonna have to tell you that. I'll tell you that, and
no, no,
I'm trying to kiss your shoes or anything. But
no, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
uh,
No, I don't know. I'm not what I could be, and I'm definitely not what I used to be. But I've been stressed out for a long time, and just things are starting to get better, honestly. So, I'm working on it.
it's good to hear.
Uh, yeah,
Charlie,
thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
our friend Charlie Brown says, Mike, your situation is not a global trend, and not the average women in the West. You're on the rare extreme. When my wife was growing up, her dad was a police chief in Manila, and he'd tell her, you better respect your husband and do what he tells you. And that's how she was trained, or grew up, learning how to
Yeah,
sew, learning how to cook. My wife cooks everything, man. Like,
yeah,
one week we could do Mexican. She'll make authentic Mexican food for an entire week. And then one week we would do Japanese food. And then one week she would actually make homemade sushi. And then another week she would do, it's like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Dinner's ready. It's all different, man. You see, in this house, it's different. I don't rule my wife. My wife already, like, it's like, I guess she knows her place, I guess. And I don't even,
yeah.
like,
Well, yeah, it's the traditional gender roles, and the reason it worked. I mean, that's what built the society we have now, the civilization we have. It made it powerful because you had a man and a woman, and that yin and yang would lock together like a power unit. It was like a nuclear reactor, like it powered civilization. The men would get out the door, and they would bust their hump because they had people they loved counting on them. And Mama looked after the kids and looked after the old man, so he could keep doing that. And everybody did it out of a sense of love and respect. And most marriages, in history, they weren't about love. They weren't about rainbows and flowers and hearts and everything else. Like, it was a practical business transaction. I mean, if there was any romantic love that was involved in it, it came later. I mean, it built later. You got to know each other. You had a courting process or some kind of matchmaking. But for the most part, it was like, okay, well, we've got the men and the women. We need to pair them off and to keep this thing going. So, we're going to pair everybody off, and you guys figure it out. And
AB
I like
Field
that.
saying, AB Field saying in the comments, I'm 4 years in and very happy. I think he's with the Filipino girl too.
Yeah.
So I think he knows what I'm talking about. Cotton Candy Beard saying, wow, that's awesome, Mike. Most women here just want to skip the dishes now. And this is why
Yeah.
Brother John says something really important. The next generation in the West will be its demise. Is that true?
I'm going to tell you what I think about that, and I've said it many times. History is not linear, it's dynamic. There's already a reaction to this. Now, I think part of the reason Like, and I don't think, you talked about MGTOW 2-3 weeks ago. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think about that. I think it's a very small visual manifestation of a much larger sentiment among men. I wouldn't call it a movement. It's been called a philosophy. I get the point of it. But it's kind of like men have realized, okay, I'm sitting at the bargaining table. I either can't get the woman I want, or the women I want don't really want to play this marriage game at all. They just want a wedding and a baby, and then they just want to go on living their fabulous life. And I'm probably going to get cheated on. So, and all the disasters that come with that. And then the kids get messed up. I mean, there's some pattern recognition being, involved here. That if men have one thing slightly of an advantage over women, I would say it's pattern recognition. Women can pick out patterns for the living room and match stuff great. Men can pick up patterns in history and recent past and extrapolate them into the future. The next generation, I don't think will have the financial resources to be so lazy and so careless. I think that men and women are going to wind up working together because they have to, because we're going to be going through a tempest. There's going to be an economic tsunami, and there could be war. There could be all kinds of nastiness. I hope not. I hope that we manage to forestall that. But the thing is this society is, it's porned out, it's worn out, it's eaten out. Everybody has traveled all over the world. We've burned God only knows how many billions of barrels of oil, jetting people to the Caribbean or to Central America or whatever for spring break and stupid stuff like that. No, it's not going to last.
No.
Yeah, Charlie, I see you disagree, unless SHTF. Well, SH has hit TF, Like, we've already collapsed, guys. Who has a stable, long-lasting marriage now? Who goes to church anymore? Who goes to, well, you do. Good boy, yeah. Who has stable, gainful lifetime employment now? Whether in the family business or working for the same company for 50 years. Like, nobody. The collapse has already happened. Thelma and Louise have already gone over the cliff. We're just waiting for impact, guys. You could stomp on the brake all you want. This car is rolling. It's over the cliff already. So where men and women are concerned, I understand the concept of artificial wombs, the love doll thing, artificial intelligence, and all the rest of it. Well, that assumes that women keep going the way they're going. Well, their unhappiness is growing exponentially, while ours seems to be actually our happiness seems to be growing overall. So, and the amount of energy that's going to be expended to grow children artificially. These are things that, were talked about in Brave New World, if anybody's read that old book. But no, it's going to be an enormous energy intensive industry, and there's going to be all kinds of psychological problems for children who are born with no parents at all.
Yeah.
Okay, like these things aren't linear. This is not going the way that everybody thinks it's going to go.
Okay, question. So this is an opinion piece from The Guardian. Is marriage really on the decline because of men's cheap access to sex?
It's cheap access to sex for the top 10%. The rest can't even get a date. That's garbage. It's not true. Most men, they're not necessarily incels. They're out there. If they're not getting what they want, well, they're doing what men have always done. They're getting their money up. They're hitting the gym. They're doing all the things that make them attractive. People are still falling in love and getting married. And some of them, I've known people that met 24 hours later, they're hooking up, and 30 years later, they're still together. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just inseparable. It does happen. I've witnessed it, but it's rare. The thing is that most people, especially the girls, they're expecting. They've read The Secret, Mike, right? They know they've got the inside track now. They're going to send their request out to the universe, and Mr. Incredible is going to drop down from the ceiling when they're ready. And it doesn't work that way. They're not putting any work into this at all.
Hold on, I need to send something out to the universe right now. I need the Toronto Raptors to beat the Golden State Warriors in the finals. I'm not even watching the West Coast. I've been watching the Raptors since the second they went on the court. But universe out there. The Toronto Raptors need to win this NBA championship this year in 2019. Okay, I said it. There you go.
Okay, there you go.
I sent that up to
you got
the
it
universe.
Off your chest. Literally got that off your chest. You bet.
Yes.
Yeah, cotton candy beard Gary. Yeah, it's all being propped up by loans and easy money so people can get loans to buy BMWs and eat out so they don't feel things as bad as they are now. That's true. Most of the prosperity that people look at and they say that we're, this is the way things are going. Well, no, we've already crossed the event horizon. We've spun out, guys. This car has spun out on the icy hill, and it's going to start rolling backwards. And that's all there is to it. And yeah, Layla said you're in the wrong mindset if you're thinking free sex versus marriage. Marriage is way more than sex. Yes, it is. And this is something I want to cover too. Most women now think they've got men figured out. They think that right? Don't they? They think that because when they're young and hot, men are easy to manipulate. Good Lord, they just surround them everywhere they go. It's actually kind of pathetic when you think about it. But the thing is, they think all you have to do is get just get this guy's pants off and he's yours. You own him. That's all you got to do. They just think it's sex. They don't understand that for men, a woman's love is so much more than just sex. It's like the old, the cliche about make me a sandwich. That's about as.
Wait, wasn't it sew me a sweater?
Sew me a sweater? Yeah, well, better yet. Yeah, knit me a sweater. Yeah. A woman could knit a sweater. Yeah, I don't care what she looks like. She's automatically in the lineup. Yes. But no, it comes down to, it's like we can't lower the bar more than that. Right? It's like, okay, here's 2 pieces of industrially produced bread and a jar of industrially produced filling of some kind. Please assemble them and show me that you care about my well-being at all. Does she care that you've eaten today? Does she care that you came home from work cold and wet? Does she care that, you got any problems at all? Is your well-being of any concern to her at all? Sex is not even on that list.
Okay. All right. Listen, do you remember that video I did with my wife? We had morning coffee together when we were driving?
Yes.
I did one, and you know what she said? She said it's very important that the woman takes care of her man and makes sure he's fed and make sure he's happy and make sure his clothing is all ironed and clean. Do you remember that?
Definitely. Definitely. And that just struck me because 50 years ago, that's what grandma would tell the granddaughters. It's like just, the guy wants someone to, he doesn't want a mom with benefits. He wants a woman, just like a woman wants a man. She doesn't want a toy, right? Mm. You want a relationship. You want to relate on a heart-to-heart level. It's just, I don't know. I think pictorially, Mike. So I'm trying to take a picture and turn it back into 1,000 words. So sorry if I go in some rabbit holes here. Mm-hmm. But what it comes down to is you got to be ready for marriage, and no one is teaching anybody to be ready for marriage anymore. It's just something that's just supposed to happen. Just like civilization. Everybody's born in a hospital and they go get a driver's license and there's always gas at the pumps and you go to work somewhere and you get a check and people think this stuff just happens. No, civilization requires participation. And no one thinks in those terms anymore. Oh, well, this is just the way it's always been and it'll be this way tomorrow. No, it won't. We're broke. Our families are all over the place. The prisons are full of men that were raised by, single moms. I mean, statistically, that's where most of these guys are coming from. They don't have fathers in the home. They don't have any guidance at all. And we have a society that is just basically, urinated all over the shoes of fatherhood. Mm-hmm. So the idea that even a man who's well-intentioned in trying to give guidance to his sons and daughters, he gets cut off at the knees right after he opens his mouth. Mm-hmm. And if he tries to timber up a little bit and demand some respect, well, he can get threatened with jail or with a phone call. Like, it's retarded. Mm-hmm. It's just absolutely off the chain. This is not going to last.
No, it's definitely not. And like people saying in the comments, it's more of an economic, or not an economic, sorry, it's more of a business proposal nowadays. It's more of a business thing. People back in the days used to shack up together or got together or got married because there was hard economic times, and 2 people together helping out, working as a team. People worked as a team a lot more 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago than what some marriages do in 30 years of marriage today, as of what would be like 1 year of marriage back in the day with all that work and people weren't worried about, oh, is he cheating on me? Oh, who's he talking to on Facebook? Oh, why did he like her picture? Back in the day, no one cared about that crap. They just cared about each other. They were there for each other. They held each other. And it kind of reminds me of when the Titanic was going down in the movie and that old couple were holding each other in bed when the water was coming in the room.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were together. I mean, life is a storm, and people, men and women would team up to face the storm together. There's so many people that they see like that. I don't know if anybody has seen that old movie with Henry Fonda, On Golden Pond,
Yes.
and him and Katharine Hepburn, like they've been married for 60 years, right? And they're sitting together on the porch watching the sun go down. And she's like, want to suck face, like it was just so cute, right? Well, this is the thing. She'd been saying it to this guy since they were teenagers. Women think like, and again, the media is mostly responsible for this, but they think they're going to go out and they're going to live this alpha male penis envy life for 10 or 15 years and get it out of their system or whatever. And then they're going to be married and have a fantastic family. And then they're, or maybe the third husband, they'll be sitting on the porch doing that stuff. No, you got to pay your dues for that stuff. You got to put in your time. It's not a matter of, yeah, exactly, Richard. We don't have the team complex anymore. Men and women, and in fact, families in general, have been liquefied. It's just people they don't know what their place in the world is anymore. They don't feel like they have one. And communities now, I mean, they're dissolved. And it's not like, I mean, we've been plundered like we lost a war, Mike. Mm-hmm. We're just being absolutely plundered, and we lose our kids, we lose our sons and daughters. They go off the rails, and it just hurts to see. And there's nothing you can do. You're powerless. It sucks. You can't expect men to quote unquote man up, step up, and take charge of a situation like that when there's no they want you to take the responsibility, but you don't get any authority. You can be vetoed at any moment, even if you're right.
Yeah.
You don't get say anymore. Well, you can't sell men on that. So a lot of guys, it's just like, well, if the only life I really can have control over or take charge of is my own, well, then I'll just do that. And if I'm not going to get married and raise kids, well, men can live on 20% of their potential productivity. They don't need to be working around the clock.
No, that's very sure. That's very, 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 very true.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the rant.
All right. Yeah, it was a rant. It was a hell of a rant. Sorry.
No, it was good. No, I you know what? I want to thank you for coming on the show. I need you on the show very periodically when you get some time.
Sure.
Because I love talking to you. Everyone loves hearing your points of views. I don't know. I don't want to bring this up, but I think I need to because we're friends. But
sure. You
are definitely one of the best relationship experts I have ever spoken to in my entire life.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike. I'm not. I couldn't tell anybody what to do, right? Because I can't point to a lot of successes in my relationships. But my knowledge of what not to do would fill an encyclopedia. So I'm talking from that viewpoint.
Yeah.
Let's put it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Supreme Canon in the house. He's a regular on the show. He's been on the show quite a few times. If you go back to other editions of Mike in the Night. Thanks, Supreme, and hopefully I'll see you soon. And maybe next week's show. Why don't you message me on Skype a good topic for next week? I don't know. People message me. Let me know what you guys want to talk about next week. And we can do that on Mike in the Night. Thank you so much, Supreme.
Thanks, Mike. God bless everyone.
God bless
Talk
you.
soon.
And that's Supreme Canon, my man. That's my man. He's come to visit me quite a few times and spent a couple of hours with me every time. And really great guy. Really down to earth. Really easy to talk to. Really sympathetic. Really understanding. Really, everything positive, like really good positiveness. Okay, Jake Host is saying, my first wife took everything. After a 2-year divorce, it took me 6 years to recover, so don't take marriage lightly. I am now happily married and all is well. That's good, Jake. Very good to hear. Nobody should have kids is right. Yes. Working on it. Working on it. Where are you? I got to get you on the show. Message me on Skype right now. I want you on the show right now. I know you're in Alberta there. You're in Edmonton, I know. And I want you on the show. I want a female's perspective of what is marriage dead, and you are. Let me see if I could see working on air. There you are. Hold on, wait. It says that we are not on my. There you are. Chatted 2 months ago. Let's see if she could turn on her Skype. Are you at work working on it? Oh, she's K, dude. Okay, yeah, all right. Good. So let's get her to turn on her Skype here and go to Let's see if she could show it. If we could see her in this video. Okay, she's not answering. Something went wrong. Something went wrong. All right, let's call her on Skype, see what happens. Come on, pick up. Oh, I gotta give her 5 minutes. Oops. My bad. All right, guys. Let me just fix my Skype here. Let me go under settings. Looks like I have the wrong camera to see people. Okay, I need the... Okay, it looks like... Yeah, there it is. Trying to see if I can get the right camera. Okay, it looks like I got the microphone set right. Okay, I got the audio video settings. Skype changes its things or policy or movements of stuff more than I change my underwear on a daily basis. There's always something you need to learn. I don't know who's going to constantly keep updating their minds to this. I'm getting old, and my hard drive's running out of space. It's got bad sectors. All right, installing Skype right now. Macho Guy 22 and Fred Flintstone says, Supreme Canon, do you have a YouTube channel? No, I've been like kind of pushing him to get a YouTube channel. Hopefully he can. I really hope he can, because he'd be a great guy to converse with and watch videos from. Okay, Supreme Canon in the comments saying, why is MGTOW what is in the end? It's men deciding to focus on their own lives and build great ones. That ironically solves a lot of problems with women's attitudes. Woo! Yeah, I got bad sectors, guys. I'm getting old. Supreme Canon said, Brother John, I do, but no content on it. I'll ship the link to it. Happy to chat. And Charlie saying, Fred Flintstone or Facebook Messenger. I think I could use Facebook Messenger. Oh, she doesn't have her Skype on. Okay, because she does have a Skype account. She has a Skype. I'm seeing it here. She's smiling in her picture. WhatsApp. No, I don't have WhatsApp. Everyone's telling me to get WhatsApp. 100 people have telling me to get WhatsApp. Duo. I don't know what Duo is. I have Skype. I have you on Skype. I have you on Skype. Your Skype name is Workin on it. Workin on it. She's asking me what email is it. I don't know. Let me check your thing here. Let me check your account. Oh, she probably forgot. Well, you could go ahead and make a new one. Make a new one in the meantime. What I'll do is, I don't know if the Raven's available or if he got arrested or anything. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'd like to see what the Raven's up to. He's dating a Portuguese girl now, so it's kind of good to know what he's got going down. Let's see if we could find him here. The Raven. Let's see. He sent me a photo. Well, what is this? Oh, okay. I remember that. Come on, Raven. No dice. We got Charlie Brown asking if he could speak for 5 minutes. Okay, Charlie, you got the floor. Charlie has got the floor.
Give us a second, man.
Hello? I guess he's gonna call me back. All right. What's going on here, people? So this is a really good article from Redbook. 17 signs you're in an unhappy or loveless marriage. Oh, it's the Raven. What's up, dog?
How's it going?
It's going good. What are you up to? Are you at work?
No, I'm at home. I'm
Nice.
at home,
Okay, marriage. Is it dead?
Yes, it's dead. Yeah.
Are we resting?
Why do I have to follow Supreme all the time? That guy's hard to follow.
Oh, dude, relax. It's okay, Supreme. We're all friends here. It doesn't matter, dude. We're all sitting around having a beer, eating pizza. We're all having our turn to talk.
Yeah, he's a hard one to follow. He knows a lot about that marriage topic. I don't know so much.
That guy is like a modern day Oprah.
He is.
Yeah,
he's like the Vancouver Oprah.
All right. So I know you're dating a Portuguese girl right now. Is that still happening?
Well, that flower kind of wilted. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry to hear
but
that.
Now that you brought it up, I did meet a girl at Timmy's today.
Was she cute?
She's right here.
Yes!
Say hello. Here, come here. Say hi, Mike.
Hello?
There you go. You still there, Mike?
I didn't hear nothing.
Oh, you didn't hear nothing?
Nada. Zero.
Hear that? Nothing?
Nada. She probably is
Hi,
shy.
Mike.
Say hi.
Hi, Mike.
Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Cómo estás?
Oh, you heard that, eh?
Okay, I heard that. Okay, good. So what's going on, dude? Tell us. Break it down.
Supreme is well versed in that. I've never been married. I have no kids. I've never met your wife, but I can tell you right now, I guarantee you she's probably a very, very nice person. I can just tell that. But I'm a landlord. I have to judge people, when I rent to them. I could tell. Just by your videos and that, I could tell she's a very, very quality, good person. You have probably a really, really good wife there. And I think Charlie Brown put a comment in there that you're not the normal. You are not what is in the world. You're a rarity. You guys are rare, and you're probably very lucky to have that.
Oh, hand to God.
Very rare.
I am grateful.
Yeah.
So
you got something that's very rare there. Riches is found a lot easier than that. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, the only thing I can share with you, Mike, is I work for the railway. We got a 75-80% divorce rate. I live it. I see it every day.
Wait. I thought that was only those aircraft, the people that work in those towers. What do you call those guys? Radio control towers.
Yeah. The traffic controllers.
I thought that was 75 to 80% divorce rate.
Well, see, I'm always at work. You know that. My phone rings. I got 2 hours to get to work. It could be during a birthday. It could be as a Friday night. It could be 3 a.m, noon. I got to go. And people don't. They just that weighs hard on a marriage. That's why I never got married. I've been there actually 30 years. Yesterday, I've been working there, and that whole time I've watched nothing but divorce. I've seen so much divorce. It's just I just don't want any part of it. That's all I ever saw. That's all I've ever watched.
Wow. Are you old enough to still have kids, to father children, or?
Well, I'm 49.
Oh, you can still have children then.
I don't really want to have children.
All right.
No, I have nephews. That's good enough. Like, they're a lot of work. I'm going to retire in 5.5 years. I'm going to the lake. I'm going to, travel and stuff like that.
Okay.
If there's still pensions, but.
Oh yeah, that's going to be. We're going to have to do a whole entire pension show. We're going to have to get.
See like I was telling this girl here. I said they're talking about marriage. That's not my forte.
Mhm.
Supreme, he knows lots about that. He's a good guy. He was a good 100 miles away in 3 towns over. He knows what he's talking about. Yeah,
Oh, big
I'm
time.
not. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not. I'm not the right person to talk to about that. I'm an economy junkie. That's 6 to 8 hours a day of research. That's 7 days a week. That's decade after decade. That's what I do. That's marriage. That stuff. No.
Yeah, but you just gave us some valuable information about what's going on in your trade.
Well, you know what? It's very difficult. I see it all the time. 1, 2, 3 marriages. A lot of losing the house. You can have the house and the cottage. I'll keep the pension. Child support. Oh God, $3,000 clear a month. There you go. And she's taking him back for more and more. And he's always mad because she wants to go back to court. I want no part of that, man.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I had a friend recently get a divorce too, and it was down on the coast, and it was pretty ugly. She took everything, and she got her lawyer to make up stories to tell the judge and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of cohabitation agreements with guys that I work with. Prenup, kind of like prenups. It's a little bit less than a prenup. I think it's $900. It's cohabitation. If it goes bad, then and I think that's a smart idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
See, there you go. Now you're giving better, valuable information. A lot of people watching this right now or watching this on replay, I could tell you didn't know what you just said. They didn't know that. But you know what, Raven, we need to do a show very soon. I think next week's Mike in the Night is going to be the death of the pension.
You know what? It's horrible, and our pensions at work have been the same amount of money since 1985. A pack of smokes was what, $3?
Oh no, 1985 a pack of smokes was $1.95.
Yeah, and it's what, $20 now? Our pension's the same amount of money. It's never changed. How do we live off? See, that's why guys aren't retiring. They're like, I can't live off a third of what I make.
Yeah.
And we all know that things are going to start to come apart here in the next year or two. What's going to happen to pensions as they print more money? And low interest rates, they're coming down again. Pensions fail, fixed income fails, insurance companies fail. Mm-hmm. Low interest rates are we all know they're in a conundrum, eh? They're in that box they can't get out of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, I wanted to just to give you guys a quick update there. We're up to 100 laid off in Winnipeg, train crew. Melville, Saskatchewan, 71. Smithers, BC is 29. Vancouver's 30. Edmonton is, Saskatoon's 124. Edmonton is 51. I'm just trying to remember all the numbers off my head. There's a bunch of other little terminals with smaller numbers that are laid off. It's increasing every Friday. We're a little bit more. Our train traffic out of Winnipeg heading west is usually 1 train an hour, 24 in a 24-hour period, 24 trains. We're down to 12 trains heading west in a 24-hour period. We've lost about 50% of our traffic. It's slow.
That's crippling. That's hard. That must be hard on the soul.
You know what? I see the worry in a lot of the young family, those young guys that started families. They got 1 year, 2, 3 years, 4 years service. I can see the worry. They're worrying that what are they going to do? You collect EI for a little bit, but what are you going to do? And you know what? Like I said, look at China. They're going in the toilet. They just took over a bank. They haven't done that in over 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was in the news 2 days ago, right?
They've defaulted more in the first quarter this year than they did in all of 2018.
Yep. Oh no, wasn't it the last decade?
No, it's the most this year, more than all of 2018. The first 3 months this year is more than all of 2018.
Okay, because I heard it was, but not prior to that, but that was more of a quick decline in the last 10 years of all declines.
Yeah. In the last 10 years, they inflated their deficit 30 trillion.
Right.
They stood up. The reason I transferred into transportation and they hired thousands of railroaders in Canada was because of China in 2005 stepping up, and building ghost cities and chewing up all the natural resources in the world. They dictated the price of everything, copper, everything. And they're broke. They're 40 trillion. They can't step up no more. So who's going to step up now and keep us going? Europe? You think Europe's going to step
No,
up?
Europe is in its own cesspool of madness, and Europe has been buying. The European Union now has been buying back its own debt.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna fly. And with China and Russia buying up gold, left, right, and center, and gold is very hard to come by. You just don't go out and just buy gold. Gold is very hard to come by, and China and Russia are scoffing up every ounce of gold and everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And they're, you know how they're funding it? They're selling off their U.S. treasuries to fund their gold purchases.
Yeah. I have a different, I know my view is kind of out there a lot on that, but I believe that China, Russia, and the U.S., I believe it's all managed by the same people. It's a fear tactic. 7.5 billion people being controlled. Look at Hitler. How did he do it? Through fear. They're doing it through fear. Look at the way the world's disintegrating. Okay, let's sit in the meeting with the head of the world, the biggest people in the world. We're going to sit in that meeting, and we're going to be smart people like them, and we're going to be competent, and we're going to use our common sense. We'll use our common sense. We have to do a population control on this planet. It's out of control. Mm-hmm. We have to control 7.5 billion people. They're blowing they're blowing stuff up everywhere. Mm-hmm. They're doing bad things all over the world. People are out of control. You can see it every day. It's everywhere. What are we going to do? We got to control through fear, on the threat of a war, on the threat of this. They're all in the same game together. They're just trying to finish off the last few checker pieces, or the chess pieces, which would be Syria and North Korea or Iran, whatever, their last few pieces, to get the whole thing together. But I believe that this is all going to be put into like a complete world control. And I believe that there's many different factors that are going to play a part, and 5G is going to be a main factor in that, of what they're doing. It's going to be a control method. It's Trump is nothing but a puppet, and that's just a no-brainer. And I see, like, they say, oh, China this, China. They're all in the same game together. Pelosi, the right, the left, how they want to keep taking Trump up, that's all bull. Everything is a joke. That's all bull. Don't fall for all that. Look, common sense. Look at what they're doing. That's all bull. They're pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. They're setting up for the biggest control of a planet, and that's what their outcome is, and it has to be done properly.
They want ultimate planetary control is what they're looking for.
That's what it is, and you're going to sit at the table. You're either at the table or you're not.
So, okay.
That's it. So,
yeah. Okay, next week, do some research on pensions.
Yeah.
We got to talk about pensions, because a lot of people have been paying into these pensions, and I think we're going to see the death of the pension in our lifetime, buddy.
You know what? It's dead. It's dead now. It's dying now. All over the U.S. They got
no spoilers. No spoilers.
Oh,
Next week, okay, bud?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I can't talk more about marriage. It's just something.
No. It's because I want you to do some research, and we could really get down on the nitty gritty on what's happening with the death of the pension. So we could discuss that in depth, and I could open an article so I could kind of look at things and kind of, pick your brain. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Because I have marriage articles opened up here in Loveless Marriage, So,
yeah.
But next week's show, guys, it's been announced. Mike in the Night's going to be the death of the pension.
Yeah, I'll definitely make sure I'm around for that one. I'll do a lot of research for you on that one.
Okay, brother. All right, you have a good one, Raven. You have a good night, and we'll talk soon.
All right, okay, take it easy.
Take care, brother. That's the Raven out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. And he is always great to have on. He always has great information to add to the topic, and he always has something he needs to convey when any topic. He gave us some very, very good, strong points about marriage and the death of marriage. So we're going to have... hold on. Just got a cat here floating around. I just got my cat right beside me watching every move I make here. I want to get Charlie on the show. He really wants to come on the show. And I'm going to try calling him. Calling him again. Come on, Charlie. I think he turned his Skype off. So Charlie's officially offline. I don't know why, but he's offline. We tried calling you. Charlie, we tried to call you back, brother. So he's offline. So, marriage, is it dead? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Anyway, 17 signs you're in an unhappy or loveless marriage. Let's get to the points here. You aren't having sex anymore. Number 2, you have nothing to say to each other. Number 3, you're with each other, but not really with each other. Oh yeah, on electronics, eh? Number 4, you're actively ignoring your gut. Number 5, you're preoccupied with other people's needs and problems. Number 6, the distance between you keeps growing and you're waiting to get help. Number 7, you fantasize about a life without your spouse. Ooh. You've stopped fighting. Number 9, you have one or more of the big relationship destroyers. Number 10, you don't feel heard and you might not be listening. Number 11, you're on the verge of having an emotional affair. Number 12, you're going to your friends instead of your partner. Number 13, you don't like spending quality time together. Number 14, date nights are a thing of the past. Number 15, you're not each other's priority anymore. Number 16, you're feeling controlled. Number 17, your partner is unwilling to get help or work on the relationship. Wow, that's a lot of information to digest. Wow. Lots to digest. Now, is marriage? Yes, it was more of a biblical thing. And then through the Great Depression and recessions and all that, it was a very good way, to shack up with someone to help and support each other and teamwork and stuff. But what's happening now with young women and men becoming more and more independent and being more and more free, I guess. And, well, not speech-wise, but free in a way where they could do whatever they want when they want and not worry about, Flat Earth data in the house saying, as long as women think they are men, then yes. No going back. News is women that work corporate jobs are committing suicide more frequently. And that is a statistic that I actually saw in Germany, in a German publication. Charles Ponzi, nobody seems to mention hypergamy in the Western world. And Brother John says, I fit over half of those. Yep, loveless, sexless marriage. So there's a YouTube video in the comments there if you guys want to watch about problems in marriage nowadays. I honestly... I don't believe... I still believe that marriage is a must. I think marriage... I think everybody wants to belong. I think everybody wants to be with somebody. I think everybody wants to be with somebody that understands them. I think everybody wants to feel like they belong. I think everybody wants the sense of the compassionate ear, the understanding, the wait for you till you get home. I'm worried. Someone to worry for you. Somebody to cry for you. Somebody to cry with. Somebody to... the human soul longs that, Flat Earth Data saying marriage is a must, but it has to have God as a union. Then Mike Martin's father in the comment section, another fake account. That's been going around for a while now, that account. Since most marriages do have God as a union, that's why they ended in divorce. So I guess when it's in the eyes of God, I guess it's when I told my wife, I said, like, we're gonna get married in the Philippines too, just to get married in the Philippines so that we're official and this and that. Oh, but then we gotta do all this paperwork and this and that in the Philippines. I'm like, no. We're just gonna get married in a church through the eyes of God. I couldn't care less what the state or the province or whatever they want to say. I couldn't care less what they want to or what they need in their file cabinets. I couldn't care less. It's the eyes of God that matter to me. Look at my cat, Miami. It's my cat. Guys, you know what? If you guys have a little bit of time, go to my channel, my channel here, and type in my cat, Miami. Type in Miami. And you will see her having babies here. And look at my dog playing with the kittens. Oh my God. My dog's name is Florida. And let me see what else I have here for Miami. There she is, stuck in the tree. I brought her. Oops, there goes my mic. I hope that didn't shudder anybody there. I found her in a tree. And I found her in a dumpster. So if you type in dumpster on my channel here. There we go. Found you cat in the dumpster. There she is, right there.
Hello, you.
That's the cat right there you just saw. Found her in a dumpster in downtown Vancouver, brought her home, and she's still with us today. Still with us today. All right. Let's get back on topic. Let's get some woos in the house.
Woo! Woo!
Woo! All right. What else we got here? We went through all the news. Now, let's go through some of the comments, guys. Go ahead and comment it up. And here we go. Everyone's wooing in the comments. I love it. I love it. I love it. Is marriage really on the decline because of men's cheap access to sex? Could it be porn? All these other things that, you know, in the limelight nowadays. You know what I'm saying? The love. The caring. My parents are still married. My parents have been married for, I don't know, like 39 years, I think. 40. No, I'm 41, so they've been married since 41, 42, 43. They had me 2 years after they got married. And my mom had me when she was 16. So 41, 42, 43, 44. My parents have been married for 44 years. And they're still together. They're still doing things. They're, you know. So, what else we got going on here? Is getting married worth it? Let's be blunt now. Does marriage even make sense anymore? Personal growth. Marriage had made a lot of sense once upon a time, mostly when women didn't have the same roles and rights as men, and were effectively private property. A societal legacy that still influences the oddly upheld traditions of a bridge being walked down the aisle and taking her husband's last name. Women didn't have access to the workplace, so needed financial security. Men had income, but needed hires. The exchange was simple, and during the Victorian era, we prettied it up a bit by convincing ourselves it was about love too. So a lot of women they're prettying themselves up to say it's about love too. We've come a long way. Women have equal rights and roles in the workforce, so they don't need financial security anymore. And while folks might still be interested in reproduction, does marriage still play a role? Please note, we are not comparing marriage to bachelorhood or single parents. And we aren't using marriage as synonyms with monogamy. The post is about long-term, monogamous, cohabiting couples. Why we are still getting married. There's a difference between what we say and what we actually do. Because it is emotion-based, but the emotion isn't love. The taxes argument. People mention taxes when they're skipping out on the emotional argument and want to believe they're making a logical one. But most people don't benefit. Couples who pay more. 2 roughly equal high income earners. The higher and more equal their incomes, the bigger the penalty. 2 roughly equal low income earners without children. And most dual income couples with children. So here's a pile of graphs here. Couples without children, couples with children, and couples with 2 children. And this is your tax penalties. There's no benefit for partners who both work and earn roughly the same regardless of whether they have kids, which is most of us. This isn't an argument against marriage because you can still file separately. The point is taxes aren't a reason to get married unless you both earn $8,000 a year and have 1 kid. God help you. The kids argument. Marriage makes sense with kids, but not for the reasons we think. Okay, we got lots going on. Wow. Lots going on in the Wow, there's a lot of people in the comments here. Marriage makes sense with kids. No, we say 2-parent homes are better for child rearing. That doesn't, however, mean parents have to be married. And all things being equal, studies show that children are far the same whether parents are married or not. But the key is having a male and a female, like having a couple in their lives is what basically is what they're trying to say here. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to be married, but as long as they're together. I guess if that makes sense. Metal Gear Mark III saying it's too expensive to marry. Evidence indicates that school achievement and behavioral problems are similar among children living with both biological parents regardless of marital status. The real argument for legally married parents is that one often stays home and isn't employed. Health insurance is provided by the working partner, and most employers only do so for legal spouses. Okay, so people are getting married so they get health insurance. I mean, getting commitment from our partner, this goes on forever. Oh, this is a book. But right at the beginning here, it kind of shells it out right here. See, marriage made a lot of sense once upon a time, mostly when women didn't have the same roles and rights as men and were effectively private property. That's what back in the days when women couldn't get into the workforce, so they needed a man to get them through basically life. But now it's changed. We can't fix our government or get rid of it when women are the instigator of authoritarianism. That's a pillow box commenting there. So there's lots going on, man, with this whole marriage is dead thing. I want to know who wants to come on right now and tell me, who could tell me about marriage and if it's dead. Do you want to still get married? Are you married? Were you married? Who's on here? Who's on? So there's people. Is this Tom? Yeah, this is my man. Pillabucks. Is that you, Tom? Let me see if I can get you on the phone here. But you gotta be PG, dude.
Hello.
What's up? What's up, dude?
Hey, nothing much.
All right. Are you watching the show?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Marriage. Is it dead?
I don't think it's in the correct form as what nature intended it to be honest. I
Okay.
think government has completely distorted the natural human um, tribal structure. Because, like, I think, like, you marry a woman, you love her, and then you have a baby, and you're not sexually attracted to her anymore. So you have to ask why. I mean, I think we're supposed to live in a tribe where you have one man with 5 wives, and you get bored of the wife you just had a kid with. I don't know how it's supposed to work, but it's definitely not supposed to be a woman and a man signing a contract. And I mean, look, girls bleed at 13 years old, and they're supposed to be illegal at that time. I mean, the government's come in and completely screwed up nature, human nature. So I mean, I've experienced 3 women now. My mother, my first wife, and my second wife. And my mother was a psycho. I remember she was like a hardcore lesbian feminist, and she used to whisper the most weird shit in my ears. And for example, I don't know if you want to hear a story about a feminist. Do you want to hear my mother's story?
Yeah. Well, you told us last two. Hold on. You told us this story not last week, not the week before, but the week before that. I remember you telling us about your mom.
I don't think I told you this one, but I remember when I was about 3 or 4. I was watching TV with my mother, and there was this rape scene, and I said to my mum, "Oh, what's this? What's this?" And she was quiet, and then she said, "Oh, shut up! I don't want to talk about it." And then I was like, "What? What's going on?" And I kept watching, and then suddenly she said, "Okay, it's rape, and I don't want to talk about it because I was raped when I was 3 years old, when I was an infant in my cot." And blah blah blah, and I was just like, "Whoa, what?" I was thinking when I was a child, like, what is this? And so basically, when I grew up, and I realized that she was trying to brainwash me that men were bad. She was a hardcore lesbian feminist who hated men, and so these women today they're just like it's as if they come from a cult, and they're doing their own MK Ultra mind trick on us or something to get us to, I don't know, hate men or whatever. I don't know what the feminists really want. And then when they grow up, they use the government to get rid of their husbands so they can go f towel and go screw all other men. But yeah.
Okay. So you think marriage is dead, and you believe that marriage is not what it should be, or it's not set up properly?
Absolutely. My second wife, she was really young. She was 18 when I met her, and we hit it off big time. And I taught her everything I knew, how money works, how to trade crypto, about conspiracies, and all the fun stuff. And we traveled all over the world, and it was so fun. And I love this girl to death. Then when we had a baby, I mean, it gets boring. It's completely boring. And I talk to her about it all the time, and she goes, "Yeah, it's boring." And she annoys the hell out of me now. But I can't leave her because we're still best friends. And but I can clearly see that the marriage thing is over. I mean, the love thing is gone. And I mean, it's all about finding another younger chick to impregnate. That's, if I want to be honest, that's what it is. And I think she knows that. Yeah, I talk to her about it all the time. But she's like my best friend, and we fight like crazy. But I mean, I don't think women are as smart as men because they don't need to be. I mean, and so I have to look at the world, and I have to work. I have to earn money. I have to pay for my family's livelihood. So I think men have a bit more cluier to what's going on. So it's hard to have a conversation with a woman sometimes because, I mean, they're just thinking about. My wife always talks about food. Oh, what are we going to cook next, and blah, blah, blah. So, and everything's she's not very good at expressing if she's angry or not. So if she's angry at me, she'll normally would be a quiet thing. And so I just think if there wasn't the government there, it'd be so much easier. I mean, you wouldn't have this marriage and all these laws over you, and the government couldn't come in and help the wife take the children. I think all our sources is government, but it's a paradox because it was created by women who voted in the government or just used other men to beat down her husband when she didn't get her own way. And then the only reason we got bad women in the first place because we were sex crazy and we were trying to go after women who had the youngest, most, who could have the most children.
Yeah, most fertile looking women. Yeah.
Yeah, fertile women. Yeah, and don't tell me that men like older women. That's a load of bullshit. I mean, girls bleed at 13. That's God talking about it. That's not government. Government doesn't tell us what to do.
Mm. But it's very interesting the way things are headed, especially. But don't you think we're going to start seeing changes? This generation, the teenager of this generation right now, teenagers anywhere from let's say 8 to 15 years old in between, what are their lives going to be when they reach 30 and 40?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fast-tracked to where we are now because they're coming out with inflation out of control and they can't get into the housing market. And if they do, they'll soon see that their heads have been chopped off straight away because it's declining every month right now. So I think the young people will be fast-tracked in this movement. And you can see like Tony Robbins in the UK now who's going around the country trying to get elected as an MP. People are flocking to him and they're all finding out that they all know that something's going on. I know everybody's still a socialist and they still want to use government as a solution, but I think the West is fully collapsing now, and I was just thinking about the other day when Australia loses it already has loses its economic standpoint where it can buy cheap things from China. Australia's going to be in a world of hurt because there are no factories, there are no farms that were produced in the last boom. We just built houses and sold them for a higher price. I mean, if you look at the Japanese boom, at the end of that 10-year boom, the houses were amazing. They were amazing. They were like engineering marvels, and there was a just-in-time delivery system to build the house. I remember I stayed in Japan for a month, and next door to where I was living, a house was built in that month and it finished. And when you walk into these houses, everything's been designed to fit into the house perfectly. I mean, the bathrooms are like a plastic shell that's been put in there and it's all beautiful. But you go to Australia, at the end of a boom, are the houses more efficiently made? I mean, are they engineered better? Is there a just-in-time delivery system? I mean, you see it wasn't a boom. This was inflation because milk went up with the houses. And Australia is in full-on collapse now. This is a currency devaluation. It's not a housing boom. And I mean, the government's going to make that clear when it finishes off the currency, which is what they're doing now. I mean, the Australian dollar just cracked below 70, and now it's in the 60s.
Well, it's going to keep going because they're going to cut rates, and if they lower rates again, it's going to get worse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's going to rip off the bandage, and we're going to see this festering non-productive economy that's going to cause some kind of yellow vest civil war. And look at the police. They're so arrogant. They just go onto the street and beat up people when they protest.
Mm-hmm.
But, I hate marriage, to be honest, but I love courting a woman and educating her. I think men like us are supposed to educate our women. Yeah. Because I educated my young wife now, and my God, she's amazing. She's going to bring up my boy perfectly. My little boy now, he's like a Superman. He's so aggressive. And he's I think my wife's going to do a really good job this time, but only because I was so aggressive on her in teaching her what to do. And I don't stand for women who walk around the house silently, don't speak what they think, and who play bully games with the family and stuff. I mean, I think men have to take control of the house and tell women to buck up and stop playing little games, and then they stop using other men against them and stop using the government against them. But we can't do it when there's a government pistol in our face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
but
right.
I think it's natural. I think it's natural for women and men to drift apart after the babies are born.
Can you do some research for me? I need you to research pensions and where they're headed.
Okay, cool. I'll do that. I've got a lot of
Research
time now.
pensions, Western pensions. People, especially people living in your country, where they're retired, they're on a pension, and what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Pensions are
Yeah.
disappearing. This is kind of important.
Yeah.
So next week's show, we're going to have Tom on. Thanks for coming on tonight, Tom. We'll have you on next week for the death of the
Okay,
pension.
cool. Yep, no worries.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you.
See you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
So that's Tom from Thailand. And the death of the pension next week, guys. We need to talk about where pensions are headed. Pensions are crucial because, I mean, a lot of people, like Anon saying U.S. has a pension crisis, unfunded. Yeah, I went over this, actually. So, guys, if you ever go to my channel and you want to look something up of what's happening somewhere, somehow, I probably did a video on it. Like, if you type in pension, if you go to my channel, use my channel like as a Wikipedia. And here it is. Sears pension cutbacks, pension funds, collapsing policy scheme, lost Canuck, pension crisis, on my way to question about Canada EBT system, Australian falling out of Chinese investors buying up. So, oh yeah, they're buying up Athens, Greece. Yeah, the Chinese went there big time and bought up a lot of houses there. So, yeah, anytime you want to look something, see what my view was on it in the past. Anything, you type in New Zealand comes up. A pile of stuff from New Zealand. I got videos from everywhere, man. Look at this. Type in car. They're all my videos. Look. Look at that. Even RC cars reviews I did on here. Automotive reviews I did on here. Oh, this one's good, guys. Snow job fiasco. This guy here was somebody parked in his spot and he got really mad, so he was shoveling snow in front of their car so they couldn't get out. So I was filming it. He was freaking out. So what he did was he started shoveling snow in front of the car. Oh, this was years ago. What was this, 3 years ago? So he's snowing in the car. There's Antonio when he was a baby. He's still a baby. Oh, it's one of my old Corvettes. Look, my Corvette walk around. Wow. I used to have some fun cars, guys. Oh yeah, red on red. Should have seen my 96 was nice too, convertible. Yeah. Yeah, Abfield saying 18. Damn, I was busy on Napster when I was 18. Yeah, me too. I was on Napster too. Big time. Yeah, the far left is another issue we have to. I mean, I don't think I could do a far left debunking discussion on my show. I think they're just going to shut it down. I think people will oppose it, and it's tough. It's tough to get your word out there. It's really hard to pick what words you could say and what words you can't say. It's really hard to Kaza. I remember Kaza and ICQ, Napster, LimeWire. Yeah, I remember LimeWire. Big time, man. Yeah, it's out of control. It's I gotta be like, my speech I've noticed is kind of dumbed down in a way where I gotta be super careful what I talk about, because I gotta be super careful how I talk about something, and it's just the right. I mean, if I want to exercise my freedom of speech, or my freedom of the press, or freedom of assembly, I might be hindering against the platform's rules. I might be hindering them. So it might hinder my channel and everything, right? Anyways, Crypto24 say finally online at the same time you are streaming. Great to see you, Mike. You do a great job. Greetings. Many thanks from Australia. I find your insights invaluable. Cheers, man. And, yeah, everyone's going back in time. Guys, next week's show, we got to talk about the death of pensions. We're going to see what's going to happen next week because I might go to Calgary and I might do a show from Calgary. And we'll see what happens for Mike in the Night next week. Like I said, I might be in Calgary. We might do it the week after so people have time to research what's happening with this whole pension crisis, because we will see the death of the pension. We're going to see it in our lifetimes. This is something we could embrace, and this is something that we need to kind of come to grips with. We will see the death of the pension in our lifetime. So, yeah. I want to thank everyone. Supreme Canon, Abifield, Ben Setrov, everybody here in the comments section. Anon, who else is here? Pillowbox, Macho Guy 22, Three Right Guys, Gaming Podcast. Three Right Guys. If you don't mind, I do have I don't know if you do a lot of video games, but I do video games myself, and I got my handheld video game series I do on my channel. Trying to keep the channel like this, kind of like a balance, like a swing. Like I do the stuff we want to do, but then I do some stuff so there's other tags on there, so that it's not misinforming, and the tags are there with the video so it matches the thumbnail, so I'm not in trouble. Anyways, guys, it's been a long day. It's been 2 hours, and it's been going for a while. We've been going for a while, and I am tired, guys. I want to thank everybody for MK11 mobile game. Sure, I'll look into it. Yep. Crazy Chad Razzer saying love is a temporary state of mind. Guys, thanks so much. Is marriage dead? Comments below if you're watching this on replay. Don't forget to join us live, where I read your comments and I read and get you on the show on Skype. Don't forget to add me on Skype. Mike Martins 1980. Mike Martins 1980 on Skype. You guys all have a good night in YouTube land out there, and enjoy your weekend, because I will. Thank you so much, guys.